Ladies and gentlemen, they say that there are more than 100 zillion organisms in this world, of which 7 billion are human beings. Of these 7 billion, many are born, many exist, and many go away, not remembered, not to have contributed anything, and not without any self-realization. There are only few who are not only fired by the curiosity and get self-realized, but still only fewer of them who can elevate others also on this path to self-realization. For us in Coimbatore, in Tamil Nadu, in India, and to many parts of the world, Sadhguru is one person who has influenced how many of us have thought and how many of us are lived. And we are extremely fortunate to have him here today. On behalf of all of you, I would like to say a heartfelt gratitude to Sadhguru for accepting our invitation. It's just fortune, I think, that his busy schedule allowed him to be in Coimbatore. On behalf of all of you, can I please request Sadhguru?
Jananam sukadam maranam karunam milanam maduram smaranam karunam kalavashadiha sakalam karunam samayadipate akilam karunam. Namaskaram. Good evening to everyone. I said good evening.
Sadhguru, pranams.
I'm very, must be my privilege, I'm with all the doctors here, but already Dr. Rajasekaran told me that I'm not good for business.
No, actually, when we were waiting, Sadhguru told me that he has had many fractures, but it all healed by itself. I told he is not good for our business at all, so… Sadhguru, so we are having a huge audience of more than 5,000 doctors from more than 18 countries. So all my questions are going to be many things that the people have asked you, but I'll ask from a medical angle. So as doctors, this is something that worries us or makes us wonder. Because we do see patients who seem to be at the receiving end of the wrong end of fate. How do you explain a patient going in a bus, sitting on the fifth seat in the center, nobody in the front four seats get injured, nobody behind him, but he gets grievously injured. And he comes to the hospital, and some people get all the possible complications when they go through the treatment. There are others who are involved in major accidents, but something seems to be helping them to get better so fast. It looks like there is somebody one hand telling, "Thou shalt live," and to the other person, "You have a bad fate, it's time to go."
This is a bad thing coming from a doctor.
Yeah, but it is a fact.
We won't tell anybody. See, what you call as physical dimension of life is a mechanical process. The very fact that you called it an accident, it means something unexpected happens. So, when two mechanical objects collide, what will break is nobody's guess, all right? That's how it is. That's the nature of physical existence. So we should not try to read any mystical dimensions into a simple mechanical situation, that's one aspect of it. But at the same time, as there is gravity, as there is weak and strong nuclear forces, as there are many physical forces which rule the mechanical aspects of life, there is a dimension. This word has become religious, so people will mistake this. Here in Tamil, we call it Arul. It's called grace. This entire culture is based on this, that Indian people, wherever they see anybody, somebody says he is a sage, somebody says he is a saint, somebody says he is a yogi, wherever people want to receive blessings, they want to accumulate. Because they understand that either your mechanical parts can work without lubrication and wear out quickly, you know the joints. If there is no lubrication, any machine will wear out quickly. It doesn't matter how good it is. It doesn't matter how well designed it is, how great it is. If there is no lubrication, it'll wear out. So there is a dimension which… there are many words in Sanskrit, but in English generally it passes off as grace. So if you earned grace, if you have become receptive to grace, there is lubrication. Where there is lubrication, there is no friction. So even a collision may not cause much damage to that one. But we should not read this into everything because mechanical objects, mechanical processes can happen in so many ways that need not be always seen as, some kind of spiritual or mystical stuff. But at the same time, those who are in grace will not get into that bus either. But it does not mean just because you have grace, you will not get injured, you will not die. Maybe it's a good thing for somebody to die today. I'm sorry, I'm saying such a thing. I'm saying for a whole lot of people, many things that they logically think are bad, if they examine it carefully in their life, it might have been the greatest blessing in their life. So, I must tell you this story. Is it okay?
Oh yes, we love stories.
This happened a few years ago. I like to go into vegetable markets, this is one of my fads. When I'm driving on the highway, if I see a shandy, I will stop, get down and get into the vegetable market. Well, I have no cooking coming, I can't take these vegetables and cook somewhere. But in India, buying vegetables is an art. In our families, they trained us from a very young age how to buy vegetables. For what you must buy, how. Different things. When we were young, our family's boys are trained how to buy fish, how to buy meat, how to buy vegetables, for which dish, what kind of vegetable you must buy, this is a big training process. So, I'm well versed in those things, so I get down and go around, bargain and bargain, because you must bargain, because it's not just about vegetables, this is a kind of an interaction. So I bargain everything. When they come down to my price, I just give them the money, not take the vegetables and go on, because I have not come there for vegetables, I have just come for the experience, just trying my skills. So, one day I went in Bangalore city into a vegetable market. There was a small vegetable shop, very small one. A man was sitting behind, I just looked at him. He was just a shining being. I just looked, my God, what is he doing here? Then he turned and looked at me, our eyes got locked, and I just looked at him and he burst out laughing. I also laughed and went up to him and asked, what the hell are you doing here, selling vegetables? Then he said, you come sit here. So he made me sit in his vegetable shop and he told me his whole story. I'll try to make it very brief. He got sick and he got admitted into a general hospital in Bangalore. A general hospital, general ward is acclimatization to hell, normally, I'm sorry. So he was there and every day he thinks he's going to die, but he doesn't die. One more day, it goes like this. Every day he thinks he's going to die and he doesn't die. After over 2 months, his wife stopped coming to the hospital. She got tired of visiting this guy. He's neither going to die nor to get well. Then the demand for the beds became such, they put him outside in the corridor. With just one sheet, he was in the corridor of the government hospital for another 2 months. Every day he thought he will die, but he did not die. One day, suddenly he realized something, he sat up. Within about 7-8 days, he walked out of the hospital and became ecstatic and blissful. His wife, his family, nobody turned up, but because earlier he was selling vegetables, he continued to sell vegetables for a living. And after almost 3-4 years after such an incident, he saw me for the first time and we kind of buddied up. And I said, how? He said, I said, what do you do here selling vegetables? He says, I bless everybody, they must get sick for 4 months. So you never know what will turn out as a blessing.
Sadhguru, you said about grace. So if grace is something that is going to actually protect us, how do you accumulate this grace? I mean, do you carry it? Because this is one of the things that is always told to us, that some people carry their grace from their previous birth and do something good now so that you will carry this grace to next birth. Is that so? What is this?
Whoa, you're going away too far. See, grace is available to everybody. It's like sunlight. Sunlight is available to everybody, but only those who open their eyes will see. That's the way it is. But is it not there? Is it there only for me and not for you? There's no such thing. It's available for everybody. It's just that, are you receptive? When we talk about receptivity, see, the entire process of yoga, the word yoga itself means this. The word yoga means union. Union means what? Right now in most people's experience, it is me versus universe. This is how people are experiencing life. Otherwise, why continuous anxiety, fear? They think they are fighting for their life all the time. Why? They are fighting the whole universe. Individual and the universal. Being in competition with the universe is a stupid thing to do. Hello? No? It's a bad competition to get into. Hello, you must show some sign of life, otherwise I'll have doubts. Hello?
Yes.
What will you do if your patient… What will you do? He has to show some sign of life, isn't it? Because your orthopedics, if you press on their pain points, of course they'll come alive. But I don't have such a privilege. You versus universe, a bad competition to get into, isn't it? So yoga means this, that you consciously obliterate the boundaries of your individuality, that if you sit here, there is not much distinction between what is you and what is the universe. On another level, see, as we sit here, this is my body, that is your body. Do what you want, these two things will not become one. This is my mind, that is your mind. Do what you want, these things will not become one. They may overlap on some issues and we may feel that we are one with each other. But my mind is my mind, your mind is your mind, isn't it? But there is no such thing as my life and your life. This is a living cosmos. You captured a little bit, I captured a little bit. That's about it. But now we think this is my life and that is your life. There is no such thing. This is a living cosmos. You've blown a small bubble, somebody might have blown a little bigger bubble. Did you blow soap bubbles when you were young?
Oh, yeah.
You still do?
Yes.
No. So when you blew soap bubbles, somebody had this big bubble, somebody else had that big bubble. Oh, went on saying, this is my bubble, this is your bubble, but poop it went. Once it goes poop, you did not say, this is my air and this is your air. Similarly, there is no such thing as my life and your life. There is just a living cosmos. If you capture more life, then you will see you have more grace. The depth, dimension and scope of your life is determined by how much life you capture within you. It doesn't matter what kind of body you have, what kind of intelligence you have. If you have not captured substantial life within you, you will live a small life, that's how it is. How do you do this? There are systematic ways of approaching this, or simply by involvement and exuberance, by commitment, people may capture a larger life. By absolutely being committed to something, focused on something, somebody may capture a certain amount of life which is more than what is considered normal. But yoga has a systematic process as to how to capture life. I can show you thousands of people around me today. When they came, they thought they won't do anything significant. Half of them, not half, 70% of them are dropouts from schools and colleges and everything. But you will see after a few years of sadhana, suddenly they are functioning in ways that you won't believe possible. Recently we had a business, event called Insight, where over 200 CEOs from across the world are coming and participating. All of them wonder why our organizations don't run as smoothly and efficiently as yours. I said, that's because I have all dropouts who are no good for anything. But they have devotion in their heart, they are devoted to what they're doing, that's all. Because they're absolutely devoted to what they are doing, they may not be MBAs, they may not be from IITs and IIMs, they're simple people, but because they're absolutely devoted, they do wonderful things. So, the question is, how much life have you captured? Always people keep wondering, oh, that guy is not as smart as me, how come he's more successful? This is going on in a whole lot of people's minds who think they are smart. Yes, always. Why is that guy more successful than me? I am smarter than him. Obviously, your smartness is not working because just with one dimension of life, life will not function. The most important thing is how effervescent and large is the nature of life that you've captured. And every one of us have an unlimited access to it. But how much will we take depends on how consciously we conduct our life.
Sadhguru, you said about life, and that brings a big question what doctors have about life. Now they say we have 1 trillion cells in our body, and each of these cells is living by itself. And when you say a patient is no more, it's just that the brain dies after 2 or 3 minutes, but still a large part of his body is still alive. So, and these cells, even when after the patient is dead, you take these cells and put in a culture.
Those of you who are all shaving every day, even after you're dead, we still have to shave you, you know this?
Yeah, the hair grows.
That is why I'm ready,
Yeah, but so what dies when we die? So that brings the question, what leaves us? So where is this life in our body? Is it in our brain, our heart? And what is this life you're talking? Is it in the spine or is it in… where does it reside?
There's so many living people, you can ask them. Where are they? I think the religious beliefs have totally screwed up human mind so badly. Wait. That people cannot even know what's happening within themselves. They know the geography of heaven. hello. So, people know what is the geography of heaven, where is God sitting, how many children he has, when is his birthday, everything they know. How come they don't know where is their life? Isn't it ridiculous? Hello?
Because we were told, Swami, about the birthday of gods, but nobody is telling us where is our life and what is it.
You are life, aren't you?
Yes, of course.
I hear 4 people, but I'm asking all of you, your life?
Yes.
You must show some sign, huh? So, if you are life, I'm asking you, are you really life?
Yes.
So, how come we know so many things and we don't know what is the nature of our life? Now, you asked why if somebody is dead, still some of the cells are active. As I said, dead bodies are given a shave up to 10, 11 days. Why this is so? What we're calling as life physically is a mechanism on many different levels. There is hardware and there is software. You are core of hardware, bones. The software is equally important. Otherwise, how would a cell know that it's a human cell? That it is not a pig cell or a tree cell or something else? How does it know? Because there is an entire software, there is memory, evolutionary memory, genetic memory, karmic memory, there are varieties of memories imposed on every cell in the system so that it never gets confused. If you eat dog food for 3 days, you will not become a dog, isn't it? Because the memory is entrenched in this. So there is a whole software. The software package is actually bigger than the hardware, much bigger. And it is energized by what we are considering as a life force. In yoga, we call this prana. It manifests itself in 5 basic dimensions. There are other forms to it, which gets too complicated. 5 basic forms. These are called pranavayu, samanavayu, apanavayu, udanavayu and vyana. These have different functions. Prana is related to breath, respiratory action and thought process. If the pranavayu depletes, your respiratory action will go away. So immediately doctor checks and says, he's dead. They'll try to pump their chest. If he doesn't come back, he's dead. Respiration and your pulmonary action are very directly connected. Once respiration stops, that process will naturally come to an end. So pranavayu is gone. It's not like one after another they will go. They will go at the same time, but one goes means this is gone. If samanavayu goes, this is in charge of generating heat in the system. So once samanavayu starts receding, the body starts getting cold and it also starts becoming stiff. Once apanavayu starts receding in a major way, then the sensory aspect of it, we must understand this. You may check somebody's breath and declare them dead, but they can still feel sensations. There have been any number of cases where people get terrified because a dead body moves a little bit. This has happened again and again, many times. That when he's been medically declared dead, there are twitchings in the body that happen in a very mild way because the sensory activity is still on. Still, life is not fully convinced that it's finished. It is still making an effort of its own. When udhanavayu goes away, then the buoyancy is gone. When I say buoyancy, see, you may weigh 70 or 80 or whatever number of… I'm sorry, maybe you weigh 50 or 55 kilograms. I don't want the ladies to get… Whatever is your weight, you don't… Let's say you're very happy and alive right now, you don't feel 50 kilograms on you, isn't it? Hello?
Yeah.
It is there. If you stand on the scale, it is there. But when you walk, it is not there, simply because this udana creates a buoyancy. It makes you less available to gravity. There are yogic practices to activate this. There's a whole school of Udan in China, where you might have seen those movies, Hollywood movies, what is that? Crouching Tiger or something, something. What? Yeah. Yes. So these are Udan schools where they have mastery over Udana, where they can float around a little bit. Well, little exaggerated in the movies, but becomes lighter, more buoyant body. For a martial arts fighter, to be buoyant is important. There have been many cases where certain ballet dancers and martial arts experts have shown what is physically not possible they have done by leaping up to heights which all physicists believe is simply impossible. But they've gone beyond that level simply by creating more buoyancy. So Udana is in charge of buoyancy. Once Udana starts receding, suddenly body becomes heavy. Always it was the same weight. Weight does not increase, but you can feel the weight much more simply because Udana is gone. This, doctors may know, maybe doctors don't do it, the people who work in the hospitals may know. Carrying a live person and a dead person, there's a big difference. Simply because Udana is gone, there's no buoyancy. The fourth dimension is called Vyana. This is preservative in nature. If Vyana recedes, even when you're alive, body will begin to rot. There are certain types of snake venoms which can do this. If they bite you, you will not die, but literally parts of the body will start falling apart simply because Vyana will recede and it will start falling apart. So, once Vyana recedes, the rotting process will begin. There are systems in yoga where we want all the seven to go reasonably together. Within 1.5 hours, we want it to go. In normal death, depending upon the age of a person, how vibrant a particular body is, it may take a long time. When I say long time, up to 14 hours it may take. Vyana may take up to 14 days to leave. This is the reason why in this culture you have rituals running up to 14 days, because they feel the Vyana may be still there, because when you bury a person, the Vyana may be still hovering there, so up to 14 days. That is the reason why within 1.5 hours, in this culture, that was the rule, if somebody dies within an hour and a half, you must cremate them. But then mistakes happened. When they were still alive, somebody put them on the funeral pyre, so they stretched it to 4 hours. Within 4 hours, you must cremate. But today, there are issues, all kinds of issues about it. So, people are waiting for 1 day, 2 days, daughter is in America, she has to come, she'll come after 3 days, and they will wait. But the idea is, for the one who is dead, we must understand this. You don't diagnose people as dead, you declare them dead, right? There's a difference. So when you declare them dead, for you they are dead. As far as that person is concerned, in a way, all that's happened is, he's disembodied. He's lost his body. All his life he lived thinking he's a body, never realizing the physical mass that we carry is an accumulation from this planet. He never realized that. When suddenly he slips out the body, he tends to hover around the body because he's lost his discriminatory intelligence. Once you leave the body, the discriminatory intellect is not there, so this tends to hover around that body. So in this culture we said, the moment we are sure that somebody is dead for sure, you must immediately cremate them, because it's good for that dead, so they know the game is up. And it's also good for the living. You will see, if somebody very dear to you is dead and their body is here, you keep on hallucinating, maybe they're just sleeping, maybe they will sit up, maybe some miracle will happen, maybe something else will happen, this will go on unnecessarily. You will see people are crying and big emotional drama is happening, but the moment you cremate them, you will see everybody becomes silent. Have you noticed this? Always. because now everybody knows the game is up. It's for the living and for the dead. So about life leaving the system, it is so entrenched. It is not something, poop, it'll go away like this. In stages, it goes away. Because it's in stages, it came in. It's in stages, it'll go away.
But Swami, like…
Huh?
Sadhguru, I'll come to a different dimension. So, the beginning you said you're skeptic about everything. And I asked you even about God, you said more so. So, what is your opinion about God? We have a different… doctors are confused about what is God.
See, it's very difficult for people to understand this. But people who are with me for 25, 30 years around me closely, even today, I don't have an opinion on them. They are around me all the time, I've seen them in and out, but I don't have an opinion on them. It's very difficult for people to understand this. Every day when I look at them fresh. Only when it comes to work, maybe you will evaluate their competence and decide what to do from what they did yesterday. Otherwise, as human beings, I never judge them for what they were yesterday. Because my entire work is this, that whatever the hell you have been yesterday, whatever kind of parentage you have, whatever kind of history you have, it doesn't matter. If you are willing, tomorrow something fantastic is possible within this life. It is for that possibility that we work. I don't care who your father is, I don't care who your grandfather is. My concern is not even what you're today, my concern is always looking at what you could be tomorrow. If you're not looking out for that possibility, there's no spiritual process. When I don't even have an opinion on anybody around me, why would I have opinion on the Creator? So, because we are human beings, our understanding of life is, when we say life, we think it should be in this form. If all these 212 bones are there, you will certify this is not life. The 212, am I correct?
242.
They've gone up. 242, is it? That's a very important number. Anyway, if any one of them are missing, you will say, I'm not a complete human being in some way. So, the nature of life and our existence is such, what we think is… because our thought process and our intelligence has given us this wrong feeling that we are the center of the universe. No, the existence is not human-centric. We're just one tiny little creature. Significant though. Significant we are. Because of our ability to be conscious, because of our intelligence, we have become significant, but only in our experience. Only in our experience. In the cosmic nature of things, tomorrow morning this planet may just fly away somewhere and vanish. Huh? Possible or no? Many of the asteroids passing by the Earth are bigger than the planet Earth. That's what these days everybody is fearing, because all these years we did not know what the hell is happening. Now that they have seen some huge asteroids, there's a paranoia. If one of them come and hit us, what will happen? Oh, we will go into pieces, of course. So, who we are is not significant in creation, but significant for us, simply because our experience is rooted in us. Because I hear that you are among the foremost… there are many people here who are foremost spinal surgeons. We refer to the human spine as Merudanda. That means the axis of the universe. I know many people just carrying this little body, already the spine is hurting. Axis of the universe. Terrible. Definitely they need a titanium replacement. Why we're calling this the axis of the universe is, human experience is transmitted largely through the spine. Because it's transmitted through the spine, and our experience is the basis of the universe for us. How do we know there is a world around us? Only because we see, hear, smell, taste and touch. All that is being transmitted through our spine. So, universe exists not because it is there. It exists for us only the way we perceive it. Maybe an earthworm doesn't know there is a moon. Hello? Most probably he doesn't know. He definitely knows there is a sun, I know. But he may not know there is a moon because it may not have any relevance for him. A bird may not know there is a cosmos and he doesn't care probably. But we know all this simply because of our enhanced perception. And this perception is being transmitted. In the process of evolution, one of the most significant steps is… I'm sorry, I'm talking to doctors, but… Should I? One of the most significant steps in the process of evolution is the making of the spine or the vertebrae as it is. Definitely. Why such a thing happened is, when our neurological system started evolving, somewhere the intelligence of life realized it needs protection. When we say our visual apparatus, this is a very complex eye. It is able to distinguish minutest differences in many things which most other creatures on the planet cannot do. The first… even now this sea life exists, there are certain fish in whom there are photosensitive cells. They can just sense there is light, they cannot see anything. That's the first eye. It's being taken as the first evolutionary eye, must be this fish, because it can see light and darkness, that's all. From there, these sensory organs, these neurological developments have been phenomenal. And the richness of our experience is mainly because of the sensitivity of our neurological system. This needed protection, it needed a conduit. So the spine came up. Another significant aspect of ecological process is, from a horizontal spine, it became a vertical spine. So in yoga, there's a whole system of yoga just training you how you can keep your spine erect, to be aligned always. You're standing, sitting, running, doing whatever you want, but you are conscious where your spine is all the time, because this determines how sensitive you are to life. Because your whole experience of life is being transmitted. And our experience of the universe is just the way we experience it, we don't know any other way. Because of that, this is the center of the universe. In the sense, it's like this. See, now this hall, we can see the walls. Now we can say which is the center of this hall, either that one or this one, we can debate a little bit. But when you cannot see the boundaries of this hall, this is universe, you cannot see the boundaries, I can fix the center wherever I want. Wherever there is intensity of experience, that's my center. So, human spine is seen as the center of the universe and also the axis of the universe, depending upon how sensitive you make it. Accordingly, the enlargement of your experience, the enhancement of your experience of life happens, your perception is enhanced beyond your sense perception. Even to go beyond senses, still the neurological basis is very, very significant. This is the reason why we are saying only a human being can realize. The other creatures are not equipped to realize because their neurological system is not sophisticated enough for that.
Sadhguru, in the video we saw the Dhyana Linga, and it is always said that you have consecrated a lot of energy into Dhyana Linga. But we would like to know what is this energy, because if you take the 3,000 people here, we know that there are some people with high energy and some people with low energy. So is it that they are born like that or they are manufactured like that?
It depends what was their breakfast. Pongal and no coffee. After Pongal you need degree coffee.
Degree coffee. So what do you mean by this energy, which you can take it and keep it in a different place, and how do you get energized? People also say, I heard you say that you sleep only for 2.5 hours. So can you tell us the secret?
That was at one time. The first 25 years of my activity, on an average I slept 2.5 to 3 hours a day. These days, becoming a bit lazy. Anywhere between 3.5 to 4.5 hours I'm sleeping. More by… not because of my age, for sure, because nothing has changed that way within me. Just that one thing is, these days nutrition is bad because I'm traveling so much and I'm particular that the food is in a certain level of freshness. Once you leave India, most of the food that appears on your plate is minimum 3 months old. It's very difficult to get something which is fresh. So that makes me go skip meals all the time. I think due to lack of daily nourishment. I get nourishment, once in 2 days, 3 days I get good nourishment, but there is no daily nourishment simply because of excessive travel. I think because of that there is a bit of slackness. I think if I eat well for 2-3 months, I'll be back to 3 hours easily. So, why does one person need… well, by prescription these days, 8 hours, is it?
7 to 8 hours. 7 hours sleep.
Okay, 7 hours. And why another person can do with half of that? See, one thing is, as we already went through, the very physical body that you carry is just the food that you've eaten, isn't it? You are looking at food only as protein, vitamin, mineral like this. But we're talking about a food chain, that means they're all different kinds of lives. What we consume is another form of life. Every animal consumes another form of life. This is the way the food cycle is created. So in what condition that life is will determine in what condition your life is in many ways. So if food appears in front of me, if I just look at it, people have prepared it with elaborate care. If I just look at it, I say no. People say, no, Sadhguru, this lady has brought it, she's a very good cook, she's very tasty. I just look at it and say no. Simply because it's not alive enough for me. It may be tasty, but it's not alive enough for me. If it's not alive enough, I will not consume. If you're just conscious of this one thing, you will see your sleep quota will go down. Another thing is, most people are eating at least 50%. 50% means 100% more than what they need to eat. Yes, you will do one thing. As an experiment, just try this. Whatever you're eating, cut it down by 50%. If you're eating, let's say, 2 kilograms of food, cut it down to 1 kilogram and eat variety of foods, you will see you will neither drop weight, nor will you become weak, nor will you become less energetic. Only thing that'll happen is, your sleep quota will go down. Because you're putting so much food to generate the same amount of energy, you're eating more by compulsion of liking the taste or simply by compulsion of filling yourself up. Now the body has to process so much food to create so much energy. This extra processing is taking a toll on the system. The amount of impurities that are there in the food will also determine how much inertia you generate in the body. Let's understand it this way, in terms of physical terms. What sleep means is inertia. Right now you're dynamic, this is life, inertia sets in. When inertia goes beyond a certain point, that's death. But sleep is a certain kind of death, but it is offering you rest. So restfulness is very important. What is being restful means is, if you sit here, if you are at total ease, you will see the body is naturally restful. Have you noticed on a particular day, you are very happy, on that day you don't need much sleep or food, have you noticed this? That's all you have to do. If you remain very joyful every moment of your life, the food will come down, sleep will come down naturally. So there are many aspects to this. Fundamentally, if you keep your life energies very exuberant, now you will see the sleep quota will naturally come down. To keep it exuberant, you should not be overladen. Largely, in the ashram, everybody, young people also, eat only 2 meals a day, 10 in the morning, 7 in the evening. Our activity exceeds most people's activity in the world, and we are 7 days, 365 days, we don't know what's a vacation, because we are enjoying what we're doing. We don't want a break. So, they never go on a vacation, there is no break, there's no Sunday, Monday nonsense, nothing, every day something is happening endlessly. But you will see, people are very energetic, healthy, sleep is very little. So, energetically, a human being can be at different levels. Why this is important is, see, what we call as life is just a combination of two things, a certain amount of energy and a certain amount of time. When it comes to time, it is ticking away for all of us at the same pace. Clock doesn't run slowly for me, faster for you, there's no such thing. Whether you are busy, you are lazy, you are sleeping, you are doing useful things or useless things, it doesn't matter what you do or you do not do, time is ticking away. So there's no such thing as time management. You can manage your energy. If you raise your energy to a higher pitch of intensity, what somebody does in 10 years, you may do it in 1 year. So if you live for 100 years, it looks like you lived for 1,000 years. Simply because your energy is pitched up. This every human being can do. The whole yogic system is… one dimension of yogic system is just towards this. If you sit here, even if you simply sit here with your eyes closed, you don't sit here in a static way. You sit here in a dynamic way. You never become static, because static is called as death. If everything becomes static, that is death. If inertia really sets in, that is death. So sleep in yoga is seen as death. You die every day. How long do you want to die in a day? You really must use this word for yourself. Don't tell anybody, I'm going to die. For yourself, how long do I want to die in a day? 8 hours a day if you die. 1/3 of your life you're dead. In 24 hours, 8 hours you're dead means 1/3 of your life dead. Another 4 hours goes into eating, sleeping, eating, toilet, bath, this, that. Where is the time to live, I'm asking? So, if life is precious, the most important thing to do is keep your energies in an exuberant way so that life becomes more, life feels enhanced, because you cannot enhance time. Maybe you can live a few years longer, but you can't slow down time for yourself. Do what you want. Do whatever you want, time keeps rolling. As you sit here, since you came and sat here, you're about an hour and a half closer to your grave. It's a diagnosis. That was not me, okay? So, this is very important because one dimension of what we call as life, which is time. See, in Tamil language, this is very good. When somebody dies, we don't say he is dead, we say kalamaitangan. Simply means his time got over. Perfect description, isn't it? All that happened is time got over. So time is getting over as you sit here, yes or no? Hello? Those immortal beings, I'm asking you. Time is getting over. As you sit here, it's going away. So the only thing we can manage is, how intense is my life energy? For this, we have a whole lot of systems to slowly work on it in such a way that, there were times, these days, one night is okay, second night I'm bit down. Otherwise, there was a time, 3 nights if I don't sleep, continuous 3 nights, consecutive nights, I don't sleep, full day I'm working, full night I'm working. If you see me on the 4th day, I will be just fine, you won't even make out anything. Today I'm little, as I said, this excessive travel, I don't have enough sadhana to keep me up like that. But one night, 2 nights also I could manage, but one night effortlessly I will go, even today. How about… there was a question about Dhyanalinga in this, which I missed out. What Dhyanalinga means is, because time is running out for me, like everybody else, I'm not saying I'm going tomorrow. Everybody should know, time is running out. Hello? Yes. As we sit here, it's running out for all of us. Because time is running out, people on the spiritual path will always wonder, after Sadhguru what? What do we do? So, this was the vision of another great yogi way back, that to establish a form which is like a living yogi, but he won't travel, he's always there. A yogi without legs, good or no? That he can't go anywhere, but a full-fledged being with all the 7 chakras and everything, full-fledged. Only thing is, he doesn't ask for food, good. He doesn't sleep, good. And he doesn't die, very good. And he doesn't go anywhere, very, very good. So that's the kind of yogi we created, who's sitting there right now. He can't walk, he can't talk, he won't eat, he won't die. Good or no? Insurance for future.
Sadhguru, you said about Kalamanar, his time is over. So is that time a finite time for all of us? Because medically, there is so much of billions of dollars being spent on trying to extend our life. So if we think that there is a finite time for everybody, so is this a wrong process of thought process to work on for research, or is it a futile research?
See, if all these idiots live forever, what do you do? The chant that I did in the beginning, Jananam Sukadam, Maranam Karunam. Death is a great compassion if it comes at the right time. If we really want to punish you, let's say we won't give you death sentence, we will give you a deathless sentence, you cannot die. You will suffer much more than death sentence, isn't it? Yes. So, only a fool who is inebriated either with money or hormones thinks he wants to live forever, you understand? Either money has blinded him or his intelligence has been fully hijacked by his hormones. Such a fool wants to live forever. Otherwise, it's very nice that you come, you live a full-fledged life and you go gracefully, it's wonderful. But we want to live a full life. What does a full life mean? Full life does not mean 1,000 years. Full life means everything that is there for a human being to explore, know and experience must happen in this life. It's very important. A full-fledged life. So for this, how long can they live? People are investing billions of dollars. They don't have to. If they invest a couple of hours a day, we can make them live a full life. In the sense, both in terms of experience and time. In terms of time, because our birth has a relationship with the cycles of the sun and the cycles of the moon, I will not go into the detail of this will get too complex. But to put it very simply, only because our mothers' bodies were in sync with the cycles of the moon, we are sitting here today, yes or no? Huh? If our mothers' bodies were not in sync with the cycles of the moon, we wouldn't be born. So, there are 9 celestial objects which have significant impact on our body. Out of these, 3 of them are most important: the planet Earth, which provides material for our body; moon, which sets up certain basic cycles within our system; and sun. Everything here is solar powered. If one moves within you, these cycles are happening. In a female body, it's very obviously happening. Even in a male body, it is happening, but not so visible, because a man is supposed to fend for the humanity, a man is supposed to take care of the survival. Today, life has changed in the world simply because of technology, not because of liberalism, okay? World has changed because of technology, that our survival process is no more going and hunting in the forest, our survival process is going to the office. Because of that, a woman also can go to the office as a man goes, and probably do better because she doesn't have to smoke, she doesn't have to look at the other woman So she is far more focused on her work. Maybe she's more productive in the workplace. But man was structured by the nature. If we lived in the jungle, then man would be very important for survival. She would be important for other things. So if you look at the cycles, the lunar cycle is the shortest cycle that we have. There are other kinds of cycles, I will not go into the mathematics of it, but the largest cycle we can go into the solar cycle, which is 12.25 years long. So, whole yogic process on one level is focused towards taking the body from a lunar cycle to a solar cycle. From a 28-day cycle, we want to slowly push this into a larger cycle where our cycles are 12.25 years. If that happens, the system becomes a total ease. Physiologically, psychologically, you come to such a state of balance. We have specific practices to move a person towards the solar cycles. These are called Surya Kriya. You start doing this so that gradually you imbibe a certain dimension. These dimensions are always on. The influence of the sun, the influence of the moon, the influence on the planet is continuously on us. Which will we allow to maximize within ourselves? A woman within the childbearing age, her influence, influence of the moon is very heavy on her. That is a responsibility that she has, that's why we are alive, that's why we are born, that's why we are here, because a woman's body was made like that. But over that, her life cycle also changes and she can also move to others. Even during the childbearing age, she can leave the reproductive system in that cycle and move the rest of it away. It is very much possible for a human being to do that. So, as this happens, 1008 cycles of the moon is considered a full life. This becomes 82 something, a little more than 82 years, gets us to that stage. So we say, for the sake of safety, because there are certain other aspects to it, we say if you cross 84 years, you have lived a full life. There are many changes which happen in the system once people cross that 1008. So what is the maximum life a human being can live? See, in normal human being, I don't know what the medical science says, please tell me, I'm not conscious about that. Normally we see that by our own experience, a human being breathes between 12 to 15 times per minute. Is that the understanding? If you're breathing 15 times per minute, you're breathing 21,600 times per minute. 21,600 is not just an accidental number that you have arrived at. 21,600 is the number of nautical miles across the equator. And for every longitude that you have, between one longitude and the next longitude, the space is 60 nautical miles. This is considered as a minute. Anybody who is an aviator or a navigator knows this. We call the space as a minute, because that's 1 minute. And our breath and the cycles of the planet are very closely connected. If we drop our breathing
to 12 on an average. Suppose by doing the right kind of practices, you bring your breath to 12, we say you will live up to 108 years of age. If you drop your breath to 9, we say you will live up to 124 years of age. If you drop your breath to 6, we say you will live up to 164 years. If somebody comes to a state where they come to a static breath, no breath for long periods of time, that means it's almost like you're hibernating and being reborn. Such a person, we call him a nirmanakaya, that means he recreates his own body. He goes into hibernation states and recreates his body. For him, we don't fix a time span, it is his choice how long he lives. Till he has a certain purpose, he may live and he will die when he's well. He will not die because of ailments, he will not die because of something, he will die when he is well. So, this is not like an absolute thing, this is a general trajectory of life.
Sadhguru, we are having a lot of young doctors here, so I would like to ask 2 or 3 questions on behalf of them. You said that in Isha Yoga there is no weekend. If you tell that to young doctors, they think there is no life. Because sadly, due to WhatsApp messages and Facebook and all the things that come, there's a big problem for the younger generation on work-life balance. So how did you manage to make a weekendless week? I'm just asking it in a selfish way for my hospital.
See, well, there are different things to attend to in life, probably. There is a family and there are friends and there is pleasure and there is picnic and so many things they want to do. But I was… first time, many years ago, first time when I was in the United States, they took me to restaurants which was TGIF. I said, what's TGIF? They said, thank God it's Friday. I said, what? No, the thing is, Friday afternoon means already they stopped working and they're thinking of a party. So they're living for the weekend. One who suffers the week and lives for the weekend is a very measly life, isn't it? How come you don't enjoy the week? Only weekend? Simply because a whole lot of people, I am not commenting on your doctors, I'm saying generally a whole lot of people are doing things which don't mean a damn to them to themselves. It doesn't mean a damn thing to them, they're just doing it because it's a way of earning a living. Yesterday some television channel was misinterpreting what I said long time ago very badly. I said, when I was 10 years of age, I told my father, who was a very ardent physician, not a simple physician, very ardent. So all his life academically he's excelled in everything and a dedicated doctor. He became a doctor because he lost his mother when he was 4.5 years of age to tuberculosis. So there are very touching stories how he used to go to see his mother and she would put a towel on his face and kiss him because she was afraid she will infect him. And those days there was not much treatment, so they just built a house for her on a hillock, thinking that fresh air would cure her tuberculosis, but she passed away at the age of maybe 21 or so, 21 or 22 maybe, a young woman. So at that time, she told him, it's a very rich merchant family, where naturally by the time you're 12, you're into business. So, she told him, you must become a doctor. Because she felt if some other kind of doctor had come, she would have saved her life. We don't know what turmoil she went through, who knows. So, he committed that he will become a doctor. And at the age of 12, when his father tried to force him into business. He left the family, went outside, leaving a very wealthy family and studying outside on the streets, and slowly he became a doctor. So the first thing he did was, he served in the Mysore sanatorium for tuberculosis. For 3 years, he worked in the sanatorium for 50 rupees a month. So he is that kind of a doctor, totally dedicated. Later on, he served in the government, whatever. So his idea of success is, you must become a doctor. If you're not a doctor, you're no good for anything, at least when it came to his children. That is the expectation. So I didn't want to disappoint him later. So when I was 10, I told him, this is one thing that I'm not going to be.
Did you know the future of doctors even then, or?
No, so all along my father was always worried that I am not getting trained for anything specific. That after much struggle within himself, when I said no to being a doctor, he said, okay, at least take up engineering. Then I said, see, you don't know what you're talking about. If I said I don't want to be a doctor, if you told me be a veterinary doctor, be an Ayurvedic doctor, be a witch doctor, something, I would consider. But when I say no doctor, you say engineer. Yours is a social problem, you know, it's not an existential issue. So, what will you do? You're not trained for anything. I said, if I'm not trained for anything, I can do whatever I want. Why I'm saying this is not with any disregard for him. He was such a dedicated doctor, people literally worshipped him wherever he went. Well, I looked at his profession with great respect, but not with regard. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I respected it immensely because it made a huge difference for people. I saw many times with my own eyes. My mother would always complain, it doesn't matter, because we were always in those kind of stations where in the middle of the night, any time calls will come and he will just go away. Any number of times, he will be having his dinner, phone rings, he will just get up halfway and go away. My mother would beg him, just 3 minutes, just finish this and go. But he would say no, and he would just go away. And sometime he will come at 2 AM or 4 AM in the morning. When I looked at this, that was the most impressive thing for me about him, that this man is committed, you know, about whatever he's doing, I don't care what he's doing, but he's committed to what he's doing, which made me very proud of him for that kind of commitment. But at the same time, he was talking to me in terms of having… how to make a living. Become a doctor, you will make a living. I said, I don't want to make a living like that. Then they said, become an engineer, make a living. I said, I don't want to make a living like that. Then they said, at least go to business, make a living. I said, no. I said, making a living is never a concern for me, because I traveled across the country on my motorcycle when I was very young, and I lived in the jungles by myself for weeks on end, survived in the forest without any outside support. I said, I can live anywhere. I'm not asking for anything specific. I don't know what I was looking for at that time. All I knew is, I will not sit behind a table and earn a living. That much was 100% clear to me. What will I do? I didn't know. I just knew one thing, I'm here to live. Everything else here is here to live, isn't it? Why only human beings think they are here for some other purpose? Hello? All other creatures know they're here to live. It is just that for them, living means eating, sleeping, reproducing and dying, their life is complete. Once you come as a human being, you can eat as much as you want, sleep as much as you want, you can reproduce as much as you want, somehow life is not complete. This is longing for something else. If that something else doesn't happen, this feels so incomplete. So right now, the weekend people, those who live on the weekend, I mean, They're alive only because there's not enough spirit in them, they put outside spirits. I'm so loaded with spirit, I didn't need any outside infusion. Anybody who comes, do you put blood infusion into them? Only when they have lost. When they've lost blood, you do blood infusion, isn't it? So only when you have lost your spirit, you do spirit infusion. I'm fully drunk all the time. So it never occurred to me that I have to infuse something from outside. So, it doesn't matter. They need a break for some purpose, that is perfectly fine. But it's very important that you don't make this distinction, what is work and what is life. If what you're doing is not your life, please don't do it. What you're doing is life, isn't it? You're fixing somebody's bone, it must be your life. It is your life, isn't it? You spend more time with broken bones than with your family, yes or no? So, which is life? Why this is not life and that is life? This is also life, this is one dimension of life, that's another dimension of life. How to distribute time? The requirement may be different from different people. For an individual person, he may need that much break, another person needs less break. Well, every weekend if you are at home, maybe your family enjoys it. In another family, every weekend if you're home, maybe they don't want you there. We don't know what's the situation, I'm saying it varies from person to person, from situation to situation. So, it's very important that we understand that from the moment we are born till we fall dead, we're doing only life, life and life alone, nothing else but life.
So one last question before… you'll be knowing that there's a lot of doctor bashing in the media. So there is…
Oh, you also… I thought there's a lot of guru bashing happening.
No, it's against the whole community.
You're just telling the wrong guy.
So, I mean, it's natural for the doctors in training to feel that they are spending huge hours, long hours, they are working hard. Maybe a perception, but definitely most of the doctors in training work harder. They give much more than this, but they are not earning the respect any more than what kept the doctors of the previous generation going. In this demanding… I mean, there is a discrepancy of expectation, an expectation gap, both from the doctors to the society and society to the doctor. How do you keep the passion going in this trying circumstance?
There are many aspects to this. Let's first of all look at the times in which we exist. In this culture, we always insisted education, health and spiritual process should never be commercialized. This has always been the norm. But we said this when these things used to be sponsored by a king or somebody. He sponsored the education, he sponsored the hospitals, he sponsored spiritual process. So, no charge for the people because it was sponsored by somebody. Those sponsors have disappeared in democratic societies. So everybody has to handle their own economics. And whether it comes from your pocket or my pocket, somebody is spending for every activity that happens in the world. So that goes for medicine too, particularly because of technology and of course, there are many gray areas. Technology costs. Diagnostics is costing more than the treatment today. But because of this, many things are being caught in time. Otherwise, most people will die without a diagnosis. People are always thinking there is more cancer today, definitely there may be, most probably. But I think it's also a question of diagnostics. It's also a question of people living longer. When people died early, of course they died healthy. Now when people are moving into 80s and 90s, of course they're having various issues. So, one aspect that's happened is medicine or health has become an expensive process. Modern medicine is a culprit in this, big time, because we have taken a complete turn towards it. We should have gone towards it selectively. Where it is necessary, yes. Selectively means there is one norm we could have employed. I'm not saying this is a perfect norm, but we could have. There is, as you know, there are infectious diseases and chronic ailments. How we see this in the yogic way of seeing it is, infections are an invasion from outside. You have to wage a war against them. For that you need a doctor and medicine. Chronic ailments are something that we manufacture from within. For this, you need awareness, you need yoga, you need observation of what's happening in your system, of your lifestyle, how you sit, how you stand, how you breathe, everything you need to observe. If this distinction was made and we enforced it in every society, then medicine would not have been so expensive. In many ways, with vaccinations and various other things that we have done, largely infectious diseases are very small, isn't it? Today, most of the ailments are chronic, isn't it so? Self-made in a way. Chronic means it's coming from within us. When every cell in this body is geared and, programmed for health, why is it ill health happening? Obviously, we are doing something fundamentally wrong with life. In the yogic system, we are looking at it like this: if you keep this body in total ease, almost every chronic ailment that you have, it will handle by itself if you give that much space to it. Otherwise, if it is not in ease, how is it? It is in dis-ease, so it's a disease. But now, we are treating everything… We think… When I said this about psychological ailments, because you talked about media, the Bangalore media has been after me for last 1.5 years because I just said this: you are fundamentally responsible for your psychological well-being. Just this one sentence. They've been campaigning against me for last 1.5 years, so recently when I went, again it came up in some kind of a conversation. So I said, see, you were saying something more dramatic, but for example, millions of people have died of cardiac problems. Millions and millions have gone through cardiac surgeries. But today, doctors are busy telling everybody, if you don't eat red meat, if you exercise every day, if you do this, this and this, most probably you will not come to my surgery table. And it is so. Millions have not gone there simply because they're maintaining a responsible way of living in some way. So, their argument is that psychological ailments or medical problems, you cannot solve it by your responsibility. I'm saying if you behave irresponsibly, every one of you can go crazy right now. Yes or no? Every one of you can get sick within the next few days if you behave irresponsibly, yes or no? Is it possible or no? So, this should have happened. When modern medicine developed, we got little too overexcited about it. And we thought a doctor is a solution for everything. No, health is your fundamental responsibility. When it crosses a line, you seek some professional help. But daily health must be your business. Keeping yourself healthy must be 100% your business. Suppose you contract something else happened, either because of genetic reasons or congenital reasons or infections, something came, then the doctor should step in. But right now, doctor is there in your life from your childhood till you die. You will not be healthy, you will just be a patient. This is not a good way to go. So I think this distinction has to come. It is beginning to happen slowly. Doctors are looking at more holistic way of treating, but it's still a small movement. I think it should become a much larger movement then when that happens, then the expense of being healthy goes down. I think this animosity towards doctors will also go down. But you're just telling the wrong guy, because guru bashing is way bigger than doctor bashing. Endlessly. Just anything and everything that a man can do and cannot do, people accuse me of. So right now, we are… because I thought some idiot say something, what's the big deal? But it's picked up certain momentum. So, just today morning I was looking at it and we're putting this on our website. All the accusations that are going on for 27 years by, very motivated vested groups which are going on, obviously they're well-funded. So we're putting all those things on our own website, all the accusations and all the realities of what it is, endless things. I must tell you, this will be interesting for medical people. I have stolen over 7 million kidneys till now. You better have yourself checked up, one kidney may be missing right now. Like this, we've destroyed a whole rainforest, nobody knows where that rainforest is. We have killed over… people said, you have killed over 100 elephants. Then I said, see, it's a fact that I don't have a firearm, so I killed them with my bare hands. See, look at me, 100 elephants with my bare hands. In Tamil Nadu, in ancient Tamil culture, a real man means Ayirane konnavane. This means one who has slain 1,000 elephants, he is a real man. I said, I'm getting there. So like this it goes on endlessly. So we are putting this out as slander without substance. Endlessly slander goes on. I don't think they would dare to go against you so much because they may have to come to you. With me, they go take much more liberties.
Sadhguru, would you have time for one or two questions?
I'm okay, please.
Anybody want to ask? Yes, Guru.
Where are those young party people? They must ask a question.
Sadhguru, you got a beautiful humor-laced talks. And I feel that humor is a very important element. Do you think that humor has to be there in medical profession as well? Or you have to be serious all the time?
Well, for the patients who come to you with something broken, it's not funny. But you have to be there every day. So, you should not see anything funny about the patient, but you must see something funny about yourself. It'll be nice for you and the patient and for everybody. But if you see something funny in the broken bone, there's a funny bone, even if that is broken, you can't say it's funny. But it's nice if the doctor is little more jovial. Right now he's looking like an undertaker most of the time. Can I tell you a joke about orthopedics? Is it okay? This happened. This was an amputation case. So the doctor did the job, and then after a few hours the patient regained consciousness. Those who conducted the surgery, they were all standing there, looking at the patient with some concern. When he opened his eyes and blinked, they said, we have some good news and some bad news. Which do you want first? He said, really? What is the bad news? Because I already lost a leg, what can be the bad news? More bad news. He said, see, this was a new nurse. We have a blue tag that needs to be put on the leg. I clearly told her it's the right leg, but she came, she always can't figure out what is right and left, so she looked at her wedding ring, this is left, this is right, and she put it on this. So wrong leg, and we amputated the wrong leg. He said, oh my God, you amputated my wrong leg, then what the hell is the good news? He said, the good news is, The gangrene leg is recovering pretty good.
Hello, yes. We were talking about life and death. I would like you to go back to the days when our sages, they will still be present in the body, but will move out into the cosmos and maybe after some travel come back. So, in evolution, have we moved forward or we moved backwards?
You only said it's already a round trip, so…
So it might have been a spiritual trip.
Doesn't matter, it's a round trip, you came to the same point.
Yes.
So, please, sir, please. So, if these things have gone around quite a bit, somebody is doing astral travel, this is called… this culture is called Gudu, Gudu vittu Gudu Pai. That means leave this body, go somewhere else and come back. Is such a thing possible or is it an evolutionary forward step? There is nothing evolutionary or even spiritual about it. It's more of occult nature. This is more practiced in African tribes, particularly the North American tribes, of leaving human body and taking on some other form. This is very prevalent. Even in India, in the occult practices, in certain tantric practices, these things are there. Generally, for lack of vocabulary, in hardcore spiritual process, these things are shunned. These things are seen as circus that you do, that you don't try to display such things. But the very nature of life that you are right now is, the life energies are not only projecting inward, they're also projecting outward. Now, if you want to do certain thing, if, for example, you're a doctor doing constant surgeries, if you know how to make the proportion of this projection, largely I would say, right now looking at this crowd, I would say, in this crowd, on an average, the outward projection is just about 10%, 90% it's inward projected, life energies. Because people are in a self-preservation mode. You will see when people fall in love, that is, they fell in love so badly that they're willing to die for it. You know, these days it's not like that. A young lady asked her lover recently, "Are you willing to die for me as Romeo died for Juliet?" The man said, "My love is of an undying sort." So, if you do something where your involvement is such that your involvement becomes bigger than your survival process, then the life energies naturally project outward. If you're not able to project your life energies outward, you will not do anything in the world which is significant in other people's experience. If you sit here, you can have 10% turned inward, 90% out. If you do this, you will see whatever the hell you do, people go phenomenally impressed. If you are 90% in, 10% out, whatever you may do great things, but still nobody will be impressed. So when you're doing your surgery, even if you can be 50% outwardly projected, it would make a big difference in the way you're doing the same thing. You may be trained, you may anyway do it right, but it'll make a huge difference. This is why always, like this business events that happen in the ashram, they're always asking me this, how Sadhguru? See, because in this… this is 37th year, in these 37 years, at any time in the world, at least Anywhere between 250 to 300 inner engineering programs are going on any given day. In these 37 years, not a single program has been abandoned, not a single appointment I have been late to. I've never been late to a single event in these 37 years. And not just me, the whole organization functioning like this. People ask, how? The important thing is, you have to keep your instinct of self-preservation out. There is an instinct of self-preservation, there is a longing to expand. If you hold on to instincts of self-preservation, you build walls around yourself. And these walls of self-preservation are also the walls of self-imprisonment. But if your longing to expand becomes the prime factor of your life, you will see your life energies are more outward projected. Particularly when you're treating your patients, if your life energies are outward projected, you will find phenomenal results with everything that you do. Whatever skills you have, they will multiply. If it's inward projected, it's a drag. No wonder you will be looking forward to the weekend.
Sadhguru, I think is the last question. Sadhguru, are we all manufactured differently? No, can we be Einstein or… I mean, there is a difference between how we are born and what we are capable of. Is it possible that we can… have we be born as iPhone model 1 or iPhone model 2 or iPhone 10?
Well, Albert Einstein that you mentioned, towards the end of his life, when he was asked if he's given a second chance, what would he like to be? He said, I would rather be a plumber than be a physicist. Really. So, can I be an Einstein? Maybe not. Because, as I said earlier, when it comes to body and when it comes to mind, we are all different. No two human beings are equal. When it comes to external activity, no two human beings are equal. What I can do, you cannot do, what you can do, I cannot do, this is the way the world is, and it's wonderful that way. But when it comes to inner possibilities, all of us are equally competent. Now he was talking about being blissful. Can everybody here be equally blissful or absolutely blissful? Yes, 100%. Can everybody here become a great surgeon or a great athlete or great something else in activity? No, it'll never happen, because that's different. So when it comes to physical competence and intellectual competence, we are all different. When it comes to inner dimensions, there is simply no difference. So I'm saying, what is at hand, exploit it first. First become blissful, then we see what the hell you can do. Even if you don't do anything, if you're just blissful, people will need you just for that, isn't it so? Hello? This is a simple thing. Those of you who have good reasons to be miserable, either because of media or these damn bones don't come together or whatever happens, people who find good reasons to be miserable. I'm asking you, if you were given a choice, would you like to live and work with joyful people or miserable people? I want you to please remember, everybody else is expecting the same thing. Thank you very much.